Hi guys. Adobe Lightroom Classic is my go-to software when I edit my RAW files. And now I'm gonna make a series of videos where I cover the basics. I'm gonna start off pretty simple and go into deeper waters as we move along. But I'm gonna start off pretty simple because I find that a lot of people that come to my workshops, when I'm teaching people how to use the program, they lack the fundamental understanding of how this program works, and they are basically just using it for the editing, which is fine. But there is so much more to Lightroom than just edit, even if that's an amazing part of it. The catalog system, the library, I don't think there is a better better way to manage your files than Adobe Lightroom Classic. So first, let's see how we import our photos into Adobe Lightroom. Here we are inside the library module of Adobe Lightroom, and this is where we're gonna stay today. As a matter of fact, I have a catalog here, which I'm using it. You can see here as we go down, there's a lot of grayed out photos, and I'm gonna cover why that is grayed out, but I am actually in the process of reorganizing all my stuff because somewhere along the way I kind of lost track and started to mess up my organization, and now, well, I need to clean house, if you will. So what you need to understand is that Lightroom is based on a catalog. There is a database behind this view you're seeing here, which hold all those information here. You can see in the left, this structure. It has all the information on how we edited a file. If we find something here which is edited like this one, you can see here these sliders here are have been moved, and this photo has been edited. Well, the good thing about when you edit a photo in Lightroom, when you edit a raw photo in Lightroom, you're just manipulating the data. You're not changing the file. So it's non-constructive, meaning, like here, I made some adjustments to this photo. If I want it just back the way it was, I just reset and everything is back how it was when I actually took the photo. So it's non-constructive. You can do whatever you want, and you can always go back to zero. Back to the library module. If you need, when you open Adobe Lightroom, it comes with a default catalog. If you want to rename this catalog, or for some reason you want to have more than one catalog, which I don't really recommend, and I'll get back to that later. Well, then you just start with making a new catalog. So let's say I just wanna clean house, no photos, nothing, just wanna start from scratch. I choose File, New Catalog. I give my new catalog a name, Lightroom Video A, and create. Then what happens now, the program needs to restart with the new catalog. You can see the name of the catalog here on the top strip here of the program. And like you see, it's completely empty. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna import from my memory card into this new catalog. I press import, and I have my card reader attached to the computer, so it should open by default. It should open in the card reader. If it doesn't open there, you just find it here in the folder structure. Here you see the name of your hard drives, and the name of your memory cards should be there, and you can open it there. By default, everything is selected. All my photos here are selected. And what I usually do, I import everything and then I adjust it afterwards. You know, you could say that I don't need these one. Look at that. This is just junk, like here. So if I uncheck it, you can see it grays out, and this will not be imported like this. So if I do too much, I just click it again, and then it's imported. So here in the top center of the window, you can see a few options. There's copy as DNG, copy, move, and add. Copy as DNG, what that does, it takes your default format, which comes from your camera manufacturer, your default RAW format, and it converts it to GNG, which is an Adobe format. I've never seen any reason to do that. I don't do that. Some people do. The files can be somewhat smaller, and I guess it's true that the program is faster because it's a native format to Lightroom. It's an Adobe thing, so it could be faster in some way. I never seen it. So I just go with my camera manufacturer format. But if you want to change that, you can do that here. So instead of copying from the card, what I'm doing now is I'm copying it and converting it to GNG. So the move and add options right here are grayed out. They are not available when you're importing from the card. So we're going to talk about it when we import from the hard drive. Below that, you can import all photos, which I basically always do. You can choose new photos. If you're, for example, you're shooting today, and at the end of the day, you import to your computer, but you do not delete from your card. So the next day you shoot also, you want to do that. The next night, you want to import the new files to your computer, not the old files again, but you still want to leave everything on the card. Then you would choose new photos. Then it would automatically select the photos, the new that hasn't already been imported from the card. So then we have destination folders, which basically means if you have days worth of shooting on your card, it just makes a subfolder in your folder which you're importing to. It makes a subfolder with every day, like this day and this day and this day. So it's organized. What I do, usually I just go with all folders. This is nice. If you want to sort your photos by date, this is a good way of doing that. But I'm just going with all photos here. And then here to the right, previews, which basically means that when you're going between one photo and the next in Lightroom, it has to render the photo. It has to take the raw file and make a JPEG preview of it. So what this does, it determines the size of the preview. If you have the preview at 1 by 1, it is the biggest file, but it's going to be faster. But it's going to take a huge amount of space on your hard drive, at least where your catalog is. So standard is usually what I go with. Minimal is, well, you can do that also. It's faster. And but when I say faster, it's seconds. It's not minutes. It's just, it's very short time. If you have a reasonably good computer, it doesn't take long. So standard, I would say there would be way to go here. Then we have this checkbox here, which is build smart previews. This is good if you are, for example, if like I do, I keep most of my files on a hard drive. So when I disconnect my hard drive, I can still see the previews I made by building previews, even if it's not connected to the files, because it's the previews are built in the catalog. So, but I cannot edit them. Smart previews are that. It's smarter previews. You can edit the preview, and when you reconnect with the hard drive, it's going to apply all the changes you did while working offline to the actual file. But what this is, it's one-on-one. If a file takes 30 megabyte on your hard disk, it's going to take about the same on your hard drive. So I wouldn't use that on a whole import. I would just do it for like 5 or 10 files. If I'm going, to fly somewhere or something, I want to use my time to edit photos, and I don't want to bother connecting my hard drive. I selected 10 photos and I just built a smart preview. You can also do this after the fact. You don't need to do this at the import. You can do this after it is import, and then you can select and deselect files for smart previews. This here, don't import suspected duplicate. It just means that sometimes it happens to me sometimes. I'm importing files that I already have in my catalog. This is a brand new catalog, so it doesn't mean anything if I check this here. I would usually check this, and then if this comes up, if there's a suspected duplicate on my computer, which I'm trying to import again, it's going to display the same way. It's going to display like this grayed out, like this, not like this. So then I just have to decide, do I want to import it again, or do I want to locate those other files? This here makes a second copy, which basically means if you want to back up your file when you're importing them, just get that over with, you can do that. And then I would just select that and find a place where I would store my my backup, my usually a hard drive or something like that. So here I can add those pictures straight from import into a collection, which is a great way of organizing your files. Collections I'm going to talk about in some details in another video, so I'm going to skip that for now. File renaming. If you want to give your files which you're importing a new name, something more meaningful than the sequence name from your camera, which doesn't give any idea of what you're shooting, I can check that. And this is pretty self-explanatory. What I very often use here is custom name and sequence. Then I just have a custom name, like Skype. So go. Then it has this custom name, it has the start number, and then it just changes the number, never the name, just the number until we import it. So you can see the sample, landscape, south coast, 1 JPEG. That's going to be the same, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So I'm not going to do that here. So apply during import. For example, if I have a develop settings, there's actually, I can develop a file. I can save that develop as a template. Then I can apply these same settings to everything I import, if I want that. So then I will just find the name. Here are some default, which comes with the programs. And here is something I added to it. So if I would, do it's a black and white landscape. I don't know how that looks exactly. Every photo here is going to be black and white with these settings I chose here. Metadata is, we're also going to cover that in another video. It's a pretty important thing, but this would be, for example, copyright information and your name and some contact numbers. If somebody sees your photo, they want to contact you, they would be able to check the metadata of the file to get that info if you put it in there. Then keywords. Here I can say if I have a keyword that applies for the whole import, for example, I could add Iceland, comma, I could add winter, and enter. Then all these photos are gonna have those two keywords for me, so I can search by those keywords. Another thing I'm gonna cover in more depth in another video. So destination is, well, yeah, it's important. You have to know where you're putting your files, and for that to happen, you have to have a minimal understanding on how the folder structure of your operating system works, being Macintosh Finder or Windows Explorer. You need to be able to make a folder and find this folder again. So if given that you know that, I can go, I've already made a folder for this video, so I'm gonna find that folder. It's on my hard drive, in users, and here's my name. I have documents, I have Lightroom video. This is my import folder. Then on top of that, I can make a subfolder in this Lightroom video. So if I do that, and I just name that folder Iceland Winter 2020, like that. So on top of that, I can add another folder within the Iceland Winter 20. I can ask Lightroom to make a folder for each day I shot. Then the date format is here. You can choose some formats, date formats here. I usually don't do that. I just want all my photos to be in one folder. I just organize it differently than because dates really, for me, it doesn't give me any idea. I shoot every day. Almost every day at least. I shoot a lot, so dates are just useless information for me. While this is importing, I'm gonna tell you about Sidecar Files. Sidecar Files are individual files that are created each time you edit a file. It has the same name as the photo you're editing. It's a text file, and it will be on the same folder next to your file. I'm gonna show you here. So here is a raw file. It's called this name of this doc, and in this XMP file, which is a sidecar file, it's just data. It's just all the changes I made to this file. But you don't need this file. This is already, everything is already in the catalog. So why would you do a sidecar file? Well, for first thing, I like to have a sidecar file. I like to have a sidecar file if my database, my catalog gets corrupt. It's kind of a backup. So at least I have my edits. At least I have my work edit on every photo I have in the sidecar file. Also, if I want to move a photo, for example, when I'm on the road, when I'm touring, I use my laptop. I put everything in my laptop. And I don't really think about structure there. I just import it, edit what I need, and then I copy it to this computer, to my workstation. So if I have everything inside a catalog, I have to export the catalog, I have to import the catalog. I don't want to do that. So what I do, I just make these sidecar files, I move it over to my workstation, I re-import it there, and if it has the sidecar file, it's gonna make everything right in the catalog also. So with going between computers, I like this approach more than having a different catalog on each computer. The way to do it, if you want the catalog, you can go here into Lightroom Classic and catalog settings. And in metadata tab, you can check this. This is a new catalog. We just created this catalog, and by default, this is not checked. It's probably gonna slow the operation, everything down a little bit, but I have never noticed any different. Though there is this warning that it's gonna be somewhat slower, but I have never noticed this. So now we are imported. I have all my files not on the card anymore, but on my computer. So, but now I want to do another thing. I'm going to import files that are already on the computer, because that's what I usually like to do when I get back from a shoot. I start by copying my files to the location where I want it. Then I import it like this, not from the card, just from the current location. So I import, and then we have these folder structure here, and I have to find my folder like I did before. Here's documents, here's Lightroom video, and here's the folder we just imported, Iceland Winter 2020. And here's another folder which has a subfolder. This folder has no subfolder, so the arrow here is grayed out. So I'm going to import this folder here. And then on the top here, we have this, as we had before, copy as TNT, we have copy, but now we also have move and add. Add is something what I'm doing now. The photos are already at the right place in the folder structure, so I just need to add these folders to the catalog. But if I would have just in a hurry dumped my files on desktop or whatever, just to empty the card and then go out to shoot again, something like that, I could choose move, and then I would go here and tell them where to put those files. Then it would not copy it from the desktop, it would move those files from desktop to the right location. But I'm just going to do add, and then I'm going to choose import, and then we're going to have the same process again. So that's enough for this video. In next video, I'm going to show you how I organize my stuff within Lightroom. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.